all the options, these are the options I've thought of. But I do believe that we're at crunch time. I mean, we've played with this as a city, and of course, none of us has really been involved in it from the beginning, I don't think, although there may be some residents who have. But it is budget time right now, and it's time that we can use the budget to prepare to restore the lake in 2009. We should educate the citizenry of Evansville on the issue of lake restoration and let them tell us if they're willing to spend the money to do so. And I think they ought to do it in a binding referendum. The next page is just copies from the of some of the questions from the 2004 Smart Growth Plan, which has mixed answers on whether the citizenry wants to restore the lake. Then there's a letter from Seoul that was given to Public Works and Park and Recreation last month. And finally, 2 letters, and those chicken scratchings on there are my notes. Okay. I apologize for that, but I started writing on it before I realized I might want to copy it. And then there's 2 letters from people who have standing in the community, which I thought you ought to read and see the depth of feeling by at least some of our citizens who have taken the time to write. So that's what I wanted to bring to you, and I really want to urge I'm going to also pass this out of council tomorrow night as part of the Park and Recreation Board report. And but I think it's crunch time, and I urge you to consider whether you think it's crunch time, and if it's not, what you want to do, and if it is, what we want to do. The city council has to take some action.
Now, Fred, you and I obviously being on Public Works, we've kind of talked about this for almost the last couple of months. We spent a little bit of time on this, and you know, we made our recommendation will be when we propose our budget from Public Works to get the study done.
Yeah.
To get the hard line numbers. So I mean, we'll be pushing for that come budget time. But that's really what it's going to come down to, is what the engineers come back with and say what that is going to cost.
Right, and we have $20,000, $25,000
Right.
in the budget for this year that we could start doing that right now if we want to.
Well, and again, Ward said that he didn't know how much. We had to rent that extra more for the weeds, and there was a lot of extra costs that weren't taken into account last year during budget time on maintenance for the lake. So
I understand that, and I'm also well aware that I don't know what the legal restrictions are for how far in advance you have to act to get a referendum on the ballot.
Dan, you can figure that out, can't you?
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
I put that in my head, but you.
I actually should know because I put a referendum on the ballot for
CUD.
for Q, but I've sort of forgotten the details. But you need like 60 days or so to get it printed and so forth.
Plenty enough to put it on that primary ballot.
So